to the computer. All right, and we are ready to rock and roll. Oh boy. All right, so I can't wait to see what we got back from this homework. Uh all right, so we're kicking off day 2. So glad that you guys are made it back for our second day. Again, my goal is not to hold you too long, but I want to make sure I give you all the value that you need in order to be successful in your business. So we talked about a lot yesterday. We talked about the 7, the 11, the 4, the touch points. We talked about the different type of events that you can have in your business. We talked about the lead generation system, the email, the marketing system, the nurturing system. We talked about the client enrollment system. We actually talked about a lot yesterday. And so then we had the moment where you identify the gaps in your business. And so I would love for you to either put you can put as we go through each one, you can put your number in the chat. Um, and I even had to make sure that you guys' homework went out. So the automation went out. I don't know if y'all got the email. I saw automation email go out. So for offer clarity, like I said, number 1, no clear offer yet. Number 5, crystal clear on what you are offering. I love that. So we got a 5, 2 5s, crystal clear. All right, so let's keep it rolling. 2, pricing confidence. Number 1, not sure what to charge. Number 5, I am 1000% confident in what I am going to charge. So we have our offer. We know what we're charging. Number 3, lead generation. So number 1 means you don't have no conversion events. You're just kind of, you know, trying to see how to engage with people. Number 3, you're hosting occasional events here and there, whatever they may look like. She said it goes downhill from there. That's all good. It's all right. Number 5, hosting a conversion event every week. And so that's where my goal is to help you guys get to, where you're actually hosting a conversion event that works best for your business. All right. Number 4, the sales process, right? Oh, wait. Did I do number 3? I skipped one. I'm sorry. Number 3 was lead generation consistency. I apologize. So number 1 and number 3 was not generating leads. Not number 1 is none, nada. Number 3 is inconsistent lead flow. And then number 5, you got leads coming in every single day. So I don't know if the number changes. So if that was the 1 and then the 2, so number 3 was lead generation, no, not generating leads. So I think the answer is still down here from there, number 1 and then number 2. Then we go to number 4, which is the sales process. My apologies. And so that is, how often are you doing conversion events? Are you doing one every single week? If your answer is yes, you should put a number 5. If you don't have any conversion events scheduled, then your answer is number 1. All right. So we got a 2, and we have another number 1. All right. Now, finally, number 5. This is a big one here. This is the systems and automation. Number 1, nothing is automated. Number 3, some basic automations there. And then number 5, you have a fully automated client journey. So it looks like we might have a 2.5. And for this particular offer, okay, that's really good to know. So we know where their gaps are. And I love that you know exactly what it is that you want to offer. I love that you have the confidence in how you want to sell it, or the price point that you want to sell it, because you can get crystal clear on your audience. So it sounds like you know who your audience is, right? It sounds like you know who your audience is. And so now it's just a matter of, all right, how do we get in front of more people? How do we get leads? And then, hold on, y'all. Oh, there we go. We just got all kinds of stuff going on over here. Oh, let's move this out the way. Let's move that over there somewhere so I can see. Oh, well, I guess it already told you what you have. That's so funny. All right, because you don't have a sales problem, you have a system problem. It got ahead of me. All right, so let's keep going. So you know what it takes. Now we're just trying to work together to see what does it take to sustain it for you ladies, and anyone watching the replay as well. All right, so offer, lead generation, your offer, lead generation, pricing strategy. With those things in place, you are looking for a 30,000 formula or whatever your goal may be. So the common struggle, as we see based on the results from your assessment, the common struggle is inconsistent sales and inconsistent clients, which equates to inconsistent revenue. So what's missing? You've got the systems, you got the automation, and a repeatable process. And if I could be very transparent with you all this afternoon, that was that was like the aha moment for me. And so yesterday I shared with you the journey on how I did 3 launches in 7 months and made over $67,000. Look how long it had to take in order to generate the revenue. So last year is when we tested out, oh, well, what would happen if we do the same workshop every single month? We had one of our top performing months. Y'all, this is where the NBA comes out, because this is where I start comparing numbers to LY, and my team be like, what? Yeah, so we were up 80% to LY, meaning that we had did 80% better than our numbers last year. So I look at LY, I look at last month. You have to understand, I told you guys I used to run district manage. I used to be a district manager. We used to have to compare because we used to forecast. This is the part of the business that I love to talk. But you got to have the clients and the revenue to be able to have these conversations so you can know what you're tracking. But I love to be able to forecast where the business is going to be. I love to be able to look at my numbers. And my son pulled this out. He goes, Mom, you know your business goes down, like your revenue goes down every November and December. How you clocking my money? But when I looked at the numbers, he was absolutely right. Every November and December, business starts to slow down. And so we are doing something a little different this year to make sure that we get ahead of that. So we're hosting an event in December to make sure that we get ahead of the decrease in revenue. All right. If you got any questions, you can drop them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to assist you or answer any questions that you have. And I think I saw Odette. Odette, drop your numbers for your assessment last night. I love to see how you scored for the assignment. All right, so you don't have a sales problem. It's not what you have. You have a system problem. A lot of people think that, oh, I'm posting content. I'm showing up. And those things are great. You need those things. We talked about that's how you create the awareness for your brand, but that doesn't always equate to conversion. All right. So the content is the awareness piece. And that creates the visibility for your brand. But the visibility without the structure, you get frustrated and you feel that these things don't work because you don't have the proper systems and processes in place. So this is where your client enrollment process becomes super important. And so when you think about your content, when you think about what you are, how you're showing up online, and I want you to really, really think about this. A lot of times when you take marketing classes, and a lot of times when people teach you sales conversations, or what to put in your content, they never tell you that people buy based on how they think and how they feel. Let's sit there for a second. The last purchase that you made, what was the last purchase that you made? You can put it in the chat. I can tell you mine. Well, besides food, I'm talking like a big purchase, y'all. Like not like food, not like you just pulled up to the drive-through. Okay, a pretty decent size purchase that you made. And I'll share with you about 2 3 weeks ago. It wasn't a really large purchase. It was about $200. But even then, $200 in this store was like, what? How did we spend $200 in this particular store? It was Ulta. And so I literally went in looking for one thing. I promise you. I went in looking for one thing. And I believe when I went in, I was looking for a concealer line. I was looking for a concealer. Is it concealer? No, it's not. It's what's the other one? I call it drawing on your face. Hold on, y'all. It's coming. I call it drawing. Contour. Contour. Yes. So they laugh at me because I'm like, when you draw on your face, you draw the line. I literally went in for a contour stick. It was the day before I was doing my workshop in the Northern Virginia area, and I knew that I wanted to have the contour. I ended up with contour. I ended up with powder. And this powder is like a $45 powder. It's just like no any powder. I ended up with a powder. I ended up with I think they call it Tachi from Ulta. I used to have like the blue one, but it was a skin set. It was a skin set, a skincare set, and a moisturizing tint, y'all. Like what? I went in for contour, but again, it wasn't based on where I live. It wasn't based on like the amount of money. It was based on the fact that I knew that my face had to be beat for my event. You could have sold me new lipstick liner, primer, everything, brushes. You probably could have sold it all to me because I wanted to be right for the next day. One of the things that I teach our mastermind clients and our clients is how to tap into the psychographics. Psychographics is what motivates people to purchase. And so if I didn't share with you yesterday, I want you to take this note. If you are already having calls with your ideal client from this day forward, I want you to record those calls. Let me say that again. If you are already having sales calls and you're not recording them, I want you to start recording those sales calls. This is how we build a language library in our 2-day accelerator so that you can start using the language that your audience is already telling you. I'm trying to help somebody today. I'm trying to help somebody. A lot of times when we are marketing our events, so when we are marketing our brand, the number one thing that people come to me and say is that I have a messaging problem. But we're not listening to our ideal client when we're having these conversations. So I took 4 calls when we do our workshops normally. And I think Miss Sharon, I think you and I had a pre-workshop call because we have a feedback call set up. And if you don't have a feedback call, I can get you guys the link to set up a feedback call as well. But again, and it was about me being able to find out what it is that you do. What are you looking to accomplish? I'm listening to the language that you use to be sure that I can help solve your problem. We record those calls, right? So I want you to do the same thing. And then this helps you identify whether or not your audience is an emotional buyer versus a logical buyer. One of the things that I identified after we did assess 4 calls is, and they were all women, even though we have men in our program. It just, my messaging just attracts women. It's not that I don't work with men, my messaging just attracts women. All the women have children. All the women wanted legacy. All the women wanted flexibility from a job so that they could be present for their family. Literally. And if you think about, how did I introduce myself? I talked about my children. I talked about being there for my children. I talked about my daughter and coming into the business. I talked about the legacy. Like, my messaging aligns exactly with what my audience is looking for in life. based on what they desire and deserve. And it's all, and again, it's all about the language library. It's all about listening to your audience. And so people will pay you if you help them solve a very specific problem. I always like to say people will pay you if you solve a problem for them today. So most of you had your offer. So a lot of you had very, very high numbers for your offer clarity and your pricing. Where the numbers started to go down was the lead gen, sales process, and systems automation. All right. Okay. So when your message is not clear, this is where the revenue roller coaster comes in. Your sales will stall. They don't realize that you are talking to them. They don't realize that you can help them solve the problem. So you can have the best offer. You can have the best offer that will change their life if you let it. But if they don't realize that you are talking to them, I'll give you a perfect example. It could throw the entire funnel off. So when we started teaching the workshops, it was probably about 2 years ago that I saw like marketing on this particular workshop. The workshop was called 10K workshop, how to generate 10K. There was no time frame, but it was generate how to generate your first 10K. Well, that wasn't my audience. It really was not my audience. Now can we show you the path to get there? Absolutely. And so it was almost retracting my audience. Then when we changed, I tell y'all, we literally changed the name of the workshop to how to enroll more clients in your signature offer. The ad took off every single month. We had people enrolling left and right, left and right, left and right, all because we changed the name. It's all because of messaging. So now the message aligned with more people. So clarity must come before you create the content. You have to know what is the ultimate goal of transformation. And sometimes even with clarity, sales won't happen without the right context. So again, this is to let you know that, when you are building a business, you have to go through changes. We call it optimization. You have to optimize your offer. And this is why it's very important that you continue to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You don't just do it once or twice or three times. You continuously to do it to optimize, because you're going to identify what needs to change, what has landed, what didn't land, what worked, what didn't work. And so that's what becomes super important when you are doing. And the language we use is launching. So if you've ever, come into this digital marketing space, what we're all talking about is a launch. So a launch is when you do your conversion event, you open up the doors for the opportunity to work with you. Any questions about that? All right. So sales is alignment. Sales is service. I am not in the business of convincing. And I will tell you people that all the time. There's a quote, and again, when I came into this space, I took a lot of speaker training. And as a speaker, you learn a lot of quotes. And sometimes these quotes just don't make sense to you until you start to develop and you grow in business. And so I remember one of my mentors used to tell me all the time, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Let me say that again. If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. So when I am doing a presentation or if I'm having a call and I can see that someone is going down the absolute wrong path and they are doing the utmost wrong thing, and I'm like, listen, I promise you, if you just implement this, or this, it's going to change or shift the trajectory of your business. And they're like, nope, mm-mm. And you know what I say? I quietly say to myself, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. I feel like if you want to continue down that road knowing that what you've been doing is not working and you're going to keep doing it, go off. You can have it. Have it. And at some point in time, you'll get tired of running that same race, right? All right, so timing matters. We talked a little bit about this yesterday when I shared how April was a tough month, and then May came turned around and became one of the best months. So making sure that you position the right offer for the right audience at the right time. Sales positioning is going to be everything as you guys go out and you share your offers to the world. So, in regards to sales positioning, Crystal Cunningham, who is still out here doing her webinars, was one of my members of what we used to call Webinar Success Blueprint Program, now known as High Converting Webinar. Before working with DeKesha, I was frustrated with, Crystal, I was frustrated with building an audience and selling her signature program. After joining WSB, she's been able to wake up to find a total of 8 people who paid in full for her program. Because of these results, I challenged myself to grow into another level. And she is still optimizing. She's got a brand new program that she's doing. She's still optimizing her methodology. It's so funny. When she was doing her webinar, she was doing a closeout call for them on a Saturday. And normally on a Saturday, I'm kind of laid back. But I popped in on her call and I sent her a DM and I said, "What are you selling?" She's like, "Nothing." I said, "What?" I said, "You got 30 minutes to come up with an upsell and sell these people into your offer." And lo and behold, 8 people enrolled into her offer. So I'm trying to tell you, the system works if you work it. So the next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is the profit pyramid. This is one of my favorite things to teach. And this is for you to understand that a lot of times when we are marketing online, we are marketing against the noise. All right. If you've ever run ads, anyone ever run ads? If you've ever run ads on social media, they always talk about the CTR or the click through rate. The click through rate, which is a good click through rate, is 1 to 3%. The numbers do not lie. So that means that 1 to 3% of the audience that you are pitching to is ready, willing, and able to buy. I want you to type in the chat, ready, willing, and able. So when you post on any social media platform, you are posting to the 1 to 3%. And you're competing against everyone else who is online that is posting their offers of into the audience of people that are ready, willing, and able to buy. So as I teach this to you, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to say webinars. But again, we have women wellness programs. We have, what is it? We have like college readiness programs. And then we have coaching and consulting. Whatever your area of genius is, I want you to exchange the word webinar for your expertise. All right. So perfect example. My audience is when I talk to people, I talk to them about using webinars in their business. If I was to do a presentation, 3% of the audience will be ready to buy my webinar program. All right. So in front of this same audience, there's going to be 7 people that are going to be open to working with me to learn how to do webinars in their business. So there's 7% of people that are open to learning more about women wellness, learning more about coaching and development with you, learning more about college prep or college readiness with you, Odette. And so the 7%, all right, then you have 30%. These 30% of people are not even really thinking about it. Most of them usually tell me, I don't really think that it works in my industry. Yeah, I've seen them. I've been a part of a webinar, but I don't really know if, I don't really know if they're for me. But I'm here, I'm listening to you just to see what you have to say about it and what can I learn that's different from what I've heard outside. All right. So that's 37%. Cool. Then you have 30% that don't believe that they are interested at all. I think webinars are salesy. I don't think webinars work anymore. I don't think that webinars are for me. I don't want to be on camera. I mean, I've heard all the things. So let me tell you a secret. Our job, our Number one responsibility is to educate the 67%. It's the people that are open to it. It's the people that are not thinking about it. And it's the people that don't believe that they are interested. This is how I create my content. So when I create content around client enrollment systems, lead generation, the different type of conversion mechanisms that you can use in your business model. I might even do a clip on webinars are not dead. And I might show an example of celebrities, influencers that are still using webinars and workshops. And I'm like, what you waiting on? You gonna let them make all the money? You gonna let them get all the clients? So this is how I create my content. It's for that middle section, the 67%. So that if you don't learn anything today, I want you to walk away from here marketing to the 67%. Because the 3% are they're gonna automatically come to you. Um, a perfect example is a client, Elaine. Elaine does business funding, right? So she'll help you find business funding for your business. We set her up in a LinkedIn acquisition program, which is where we will do outreach on your behalf. And so she did a couple of webinars and she did some outreach, and immediate was like, oh, I don't need to do webinars anymore. I got so many clients or so many people that are interested in getting business funding that I don't feel like I need to do webinars anymore. I said, well, what happens when those leads go dry? What happens when the pool of people that have raised their hand, they get cold? Your pipeline goes dry. Your pipeline is dead. I say you keep doing the conversion event so that you consistently have a pipeline, my friend. Like, you don't want to go 90 days because um we've done outreach for you, and we've outreached to over 300 something people. You got 150 connections. You have a 45 conversation. That's only going to last for so long. It ain't going to last for 12 months. So those leads are going to get cold, 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 and more cold. So I was like, no, you don't stop your conversion events because you're always driving new traffic into the event. So, all right, focus on the 67%. That bottom 30%, remember I was just telling you, if you argue for your limitation, you get to keep them. Those are the people in the bottom. Though they just know they're not interested. I always say, um, there's a man and the dog on the porch. The dog is howling. Come to find out, the dog is sitting on a nail. So them people in that last block, they sitting on the nail and they don't want to get up. And we're gonna leave them sitting right there. Amen. Amen. We're gonna let them argue for their limitation. Okay. Yes, 67%. Absolutely. Number one takeaway for today. KB, Keisha Bass. And she was another one she was in our coaching program. She actually watched all of my Facebook Live videos, ended up coming into the high converting webinar program. She was really good at YouTube, had a YouTube program sitting on the shelf, just not making any money. She had over 350 people register for a webinar. 100 people showed up live for a 28% show rate. She had her very first 5-figure launch with her own product, all from using the launch methodology that I teach. All right, so I'm going to show you the different kind. So I want you to think conversion event. Conversion event. A conversion event is where the decisions are made. Not a post, not your content that you're putting out on social media, not necessarily in an email, but it's designed for the moment for them to take action. So I'm going to share with you a couple of different types of enrollment events. You guys can determine which one you think works better for you or which one you would like to try in your business. So we have a challenge, and challenges are still very, very, very popular. This is the first conversion event that I've ever done in my business. We did a 5-day challenge. So, a challenge launch is a 4 to 5 day lab experience where you deliver bite sized, actionable content that leads your audience to a specific result or a quick win. It builds momentum, it builds trust, and it builds engagement. It warms up your audience to say yes to your offer by the end of the challenge. All right. So when you think about the challenge, you think about community, you think about consistency, you think about small wins equal conversion, because every day you're giving them a exercise to do. And that's what I did. Every day I would go live, I would give them an exercise, they would implement, and they would have small wins. It's Dr. LaShonda Bracy now. So Dr. LaShonda Bracy, before working with DeKesha, I was struggling to price and launch my signature offer. After working with her, I've been able to create workshops with attendees who have turned into clients. Ultimately, scaling my coaching and consulting business because of these results, I have a higher closing rate and been able to earn $20,000 in 1 month. She started with a 7-day challenge, and she focuses on government contracts for organizations. So if you want to get into government contracts, she has a course that she teaches. And then of course, I couldn't talk to you all day long and not talk to you about a webinar launch. All right. So the webinar launch is what kind of brought me to where I am today. A webinar launch is a one-time live or automated masterclass that teaches your audience a core concept or framework and introduces your offer as the next step. Now, before you even think about, oh, I want an automated masterclass, write this down. You have to convert live before you can automate. I know I told y'all I had an automated masterclass while I was poolside with the mastermind, but I ran it live and I converted before I automated. All right. I don't want you to be out here talking about, yep, DeKesha said I can run an automated webinar. No, you have to convert it live before you can move it to automated. All right. Everybody type in the chat. I understand. So I know I can hold you accountable. But it is definitely a perfect model when you want to educate, when you want to build authority, and when you want to convert fast. And you can do this within 60 to 90 minutes. 60 to 90 minutes. Some people like to do 2 hours, but 60 to 90 minutes is a sweet spot, especially depending on the price point. If you're selling something for $297 or $497, you can be in and out 45 minutes, 60 minutes. If you're selling something that's $997, you might want to do an extra hour. All right, you might want to do an extra hour for $997. Above $997, you might start creeping into the 75 minutes to 90 minutes. All right, it's just safe. It's a safer pace because you get to add a lot of value so that they can see that the obvious next step is with you. And so I like to look at it as it's a one shot, it's very high impact, and then there's a clear call to action, also known as CTA. One of our mastermind members, Dr. Lena Payton Webb, she attended the 2-day intensive in Richmond, Virginia, July 2025. And it was a total game changer for her. She walked away with a mapped out signature offer tailored for previous clients. And within 1 week, she literally came back, and I think she hosted this webinar on a Tuesday. The 2-day intensive that was in Richmond was on it was a Friday and Saturday. She hosted a webinar with 22 people registered. Let me say that again. She hosted a webinar with 22 people registered. 10 showed up. 4 enrolled in her $3,000 bootcamp. That's $12,000 generated from a webinar in just days after the intensive. The reason why this is so important, how many people registered? 22. How many showed? 10. You do not need a huge audience to make a difference and to make revenue in this space. So the system works if you work it. Joining the mastermind in May was one of the best decisions she's made for her business. And I'm gonna have to get the recording because I actually have her on recording, y'all, when we did our last touch base. She actually told me she didn't fell in love with webinars. She didn't fell in love with the process. I said, you better go ahead on now. So I love that, she was able to come in and optimize what she was already doing and then to be able to generate revenue. But I have it on camera. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use that video. She's like, you know what? I've actually fallen in love with the process. I said, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. All right. And so one of the final ones that I want to share with you is a summit launch. Now, summit launches are they pretty much I used to think that they were done a lot differently. But they kind of are run similar. So we started doing them in 2019, 2020. The first one we did in 2020, we had over 700 people that registered. But again, this was right at the beginning of COVID. Everybody was at home. Okay. Now you got a lot of people doing summits. But a summit is a multi-day virtual event where you gather a group of experts to speak on a topic that aligns with your offer. I know a lot of people are in like the AI space. So Alicia Little and her sister, they do the AI summit. I think they do it maybe once a quarter or maybe once a month. I'm not sure how often. But she's always inviting experts to come and speak on topics that align with what she does and how they use AI in their particular business model. So it's a very powerful strategy to grow your email list, to position yourself as an authority, and then borrow credibility from others. This methodology helped us grow our list exponentially during the 2020 COVID, like the pandemic time. I was not able to do a summit over the last 3 years because I was telling you, I shared with you guys, my mom was sick. So I was really focusing on being a caregiver and really, sustaining and maintaining the business. But we brought back the Global Women's Conference this year. This was our first summit in probably 3 years. But again, I want you to think about collaborative growth. I want you to think about massive visibility and then long-term list building. So one of my clients actually was able to participate. I like to invite my clients to participate on my stage. It doesn't matter what it is, podcast, summit, speaking events. I always like to invite them. So this was Monifa. She was in the coaching program as well. Before working with DeKesha, I was always resistant to webinars, but I wanted to see if I could create another level of breakthrough in my business. After joining the Get It Done coaching program, I've been able to step outside my comfort zone and launch my first webinar. Because of these results, I've been able to close my first client, and let's just say it's the most money I've ever made so far. I generated over $6,200 during our time together. Her leads came from the summit. Her call to action when she did her talk on the summit was come to participate in her upcoming masterclass. And she ended up landing her first clients. So we got challenges, we got summits, we have webinars, right? Content builds awareness, conversion events builds trust. One of the things that I used to teach is live streams for awareness, webinars for conversion. So your content is going to create your awareness for your brand. But the conversion event is where you're going to build the trust, the know, like, and trust. And this is where you're going to generate the revenue. Trust requires content, visibility, value, and authority. So, like I said earlier, you don't need a big audience. You just need a process. And some people who have smaller audiences, the reason that they struggle to sell is because they do not implement a process in their business or a system in their business as well. You can take a quick screenshot of this. This is the 12-week process that we created originally when we started doing launches. So you got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. We've actually condensed this whole process down where you can, instead of every 12 weeks, you can do every 4 weeks. And some people do it. Like I had a client today, we did a call. She's like, DeKesha, I'm doing a webinar every single week. Let's go. I was like, she's like, I'm doing the same webinar every single week. And she's going to get the results. But in phase 1, you're always planning your launch. You determine the launch strategy, which I gave you a couple of options. And then you develop the content that you want to teach in that particular launch strategy. So once phase one is done, you really don't have to repeat it again once you rinse and repeat. And then if you have a freemium or some content to build your awareness, you want to promote that. And we used to do that about week 3, week 4. Again, this is when I was doing my 12-week launches. We launch, like I said, we might have something every week, y'all. And then you want to start promoting your masterclass or your challenge. Phase 3 is right when it's time to deliver. It used to be about week 8, right? Week 8 or week 9. And this is where you start building out the logistics. You need a landing page, you need a thank you page, you need your email sequences, like a welcome email, um, the email sequence, all the logistic things. Even if you don't have text messaging set up, you want to have that set up so that you get a higher show up rate. All of those become important in the delivery phase, and then you show up and you give great value. All right, so and then what we call is the cart open. So once you invite people to come and join you in your program, that is, your cart is officially open. We used to leave the cart open for 7 days. Now not so much. It just depends on what we have going on. This is the piece that people miss, is the debrief. Okay, so we look at KPIs: how many people registered, how many people show, how many people purchase, how did we market, for what marketing platforms did we use, did we use all the marketing strategies that I showed you yesterday. What's something in the process that we can change? And you don't want to change multiple things, you want to change 1 or 2 things every time. I'm going to say this again. You don't want to go and change the entire launch process. You want to change 1 or 2 small things. I gave you a perfect example. One launch, I changed the price. One launch, I changed the title, right? So, and then sometimes you can go in and change the content. So it's very important to do your debrief. So now that you have an understanding of the conversion events, it's time for you to build your 30K plan, your 10K plan, your 20K plan, your 100K plan, whatever that is that you want to implement in your business. So most of you, like I said, you scored very well in your offer. You're super clear on your offer and your pricing. Step number 2 is where you it appears that a lot need to do the work, is let's identify what your lead sources are and stop missing some of the pieces. You have the plan, but are you going to execute? And I think I was talking yesterday from the 12-week yearbook. What is his name? Brian Moran. You don't have a knowledge problem. You have an execution problem. I forgot who I was talking to yesterday. I don't know. I ain't going to call them names though. So most entrepreneurs know exactly what to do, but still don't implement. Why? Because of the lack of support and accountability. What if I see a hand raised too? I don't know if you did that on purpose. What if you had help to set up your entire system? Did someone have a question? Oh, did you have a question, Odette?
No, I was just saying that it was me that you spoke to
Oh,
yesterday.
you were telling on yourself.
I mean, you know
She was
what?
like,
We all
yeah,
learn from each other. Yes, I have an execution challenge, so I'm good with that.
but
I
it's
own
all
it, so
good.
I can. Well, we got to recognize it, right?
That's what I was going to say. Knowing is half the battle, right? Once we know, we can make corrections. I was like, I see her hand raised. I appreciate that. So I want to introduce to you the Sell Your Signature Offer Accelerator. It is a hands-on support to implement your lead gen and sales system. It is done with you, set up so you don't have to figure it out alone. I'm going to share with you a little bit about. I'm going to keep going through that. That's Rob. It's a great testimony, and I know I shouldn't go over it, but again, for the sake of time, I want to share with y'all, and I don't want to hold you past too long. So, in our mastermind process, we map out the offer. So we may have to we do go through your offer if you have questions about your offer. We help you master your message, really get clear with that language library to make sure that you are speaking the language that your audience resonates with. Okay. And then I'm going to show you how to I like to say amplify, but market your message. Really get your message in front of your ideal client. And so we have methodologies that we use that I think would be very beneficial to each of you. And then we always want to monetize. Like, we're not doing this, we are doing this because we serve, but we also want to, what is it? Reap the fruit of our labor. All right. And then maximize, which is the amplify of and the scale. So before we can get to the scale piece, we got to put the foundational work in place. Now, you can do it on your own based on what I taught you, or you can hire a trainer, a consultant to help you actually implement. So the goal is to make money from all of your hard work. And knowing this isn't enough. Most people will not implement alone. Text plus messaging plus follow up equal matters. All right. So sell your signature offer intensive. It is a done with you client enrollment system build out. So it incorporates the entire enrollment system. And so you can either build it now or keep guessing. If you want consistent enrollments in 2026, this system must be built before Q2 ends. So the system will work if you work it. If all it did was help you enroll the next 3 to 5 clients in the next 60 days, would it be worth it to you? If it gave you confidence on how to talk about your offer, if it eliminated the fear of selling once and for all, or if it just created the consistent income without launching. So this is everything that comes in the actual program. Um, these are all the items that are included, but I want to share with you what actually we're going to get done. So you can take a screenshot of it if you want to, but it's the irresistible offer. It's your client enrollment session. We have 2 5-hour sessions, and it's actually, I think the next dates are May 7th. We're doing one this week. So if you are that excited about implementing your enrollment system, you can enroll for the one for April 16th and 17th, but our next one is going to be May 7th and 8th. They are typically on a Thursday and Friday. Uh-oh, it went back. This thing always going back. All right, so this is where I really want to spend some time. So this is what we're going to complete day 1 and day 2. So we're going to really master your message. We're going to clarify your message. We're going to speak your value with confidence. We do use some AI in this process. So you can pick whatever your favorite AI tool is. Some of you already have your offer, which is fantastic. If you have discovery calls, bring them to the intensive. We really dissect the language that your audience is using, and we incorporate that in your offer, in your presentation, and in your marketing. So, and if you don't have them, it's okay. We can still help you put together messaging that aligns with your offer. With your audience. And then we help you design your offer funnel. Some people may have a funnel, and that's fine. I literally hand you the exact funnel that you use to register for this workshop. I know that the page converts because we've been using it for the last 12 months. Okay. And we've got clients enrolling consistently every single month. We have a plug and play system for people that do not have a CRM. Earlier, I shared with you that we have the Speaker CRM system, which is a white label version of High Level. If you already have a CRM, there are ways where we can help you set this up together already in your platform as well. All right. The other thing is sales confidence. Some people are not necessarily confident with pitching their offer. What if I gave you all of the objections to deal with when you pitch your offer? What if we did the scripts on your offer and actually practice them together with another colleague so that now you're actually doing your presentation before you do your presentation? Because I know a lot of people get out here and do these webinars and they don't be practicing their webinar, but I ain't gonna say nothing. I just know what I know, what I know. Okay. And so we actually rehearse, we actually walk through building out the entire presentation, restructuring your presentation, what I know that has worked for over the last 12 years and what has changed in this economy and in the industry. What else is it? Um, We do your presentation. We do objections. We do it's a word that I want to use. Cost analysis. So how much are you or your audience losing by not making a decision? So we do a cost analysis as well. We have an exercise where we do real-time prospecting. So we start meaningful conversations so that you can have people that are already interested in working with you before we even no problem before we even actually start to promote your webinar. All right. So as we close, so you get a clarity offer, you get price and packaging. We refine it if necessary because some people they lowball themselves. We do the client enrollment funnel and then we automate once you've converted. All right. So today it's 1997, or you can get started for $500. The investment has to be paid in full, but prior to participating in our 2-day intensive. So like I said, the next one is going to be May 7th and 8th, or we have one this particular Thursday and Friday if you want to join and go ahead and get started. You scan the QR code, and I'm going to show you a bonus for those that pay in full for today. But if you scan the QR code and you decide that you want to take action, you can actually use the coupon code WIN26. So we are winning in 2026. WIN, I'll put it in the chat, WIN26. Scan the QR code and it will take the price down to $19.97. It is normally $29.97. We have done this several times. It's super juicy. It's super good. I know that it's worth more, but again, I want to be able to serve more people. So, I'm going to keep going because I want to show you something really quickly. So for those that do fast action bonus, so if you pay in full today, I'm going to give you the LinkedIn acquisition system for 30 days. And I'm going to show you what that means. So let me go in here and show you real quick what the LinkedIn client acquisition is. And we've been doing this since October of 2025. Since October 2025, we've had 800 plus conversations generated, recurring revenue secured, and a repeatable engine ready for scale. And it's a validated offer. We have a 23% reply rate versus 5 to 12% industry average. We have generated a minimum of $9,000 from a single pilot client. And that was one client. So since I did this slide, we have gotten an additional client that pays $500 a month. We got another client that enrolled in the intensive. We have another client that purchased a publishing deal from us. So I think that we are probably close to 15K. Um, just from the LinkedIn acquisition systems. Let me say that again. Just from LinkedIn acquisition. I've been in business for 15 years. I built my entire business off of Facebook. Since October 2025, we moved over to LinkedIn, and these are the numbers that we have had since October of 2025. We have connected or contacted 3,653 people. 1,339 have accepted, and we've had over 822 conversations started, and continue to go since October. And so we would implement this as a bonus for anyone that joins the 2-day accelerator. I mean, I think this is like absolute phenomenal opportunity. So immediate upfront coaching, 2,700. $1,000, 6 months, 6,500. So like I said, we've gained 3 additional contracts from the LinkedIn acquisition all by itself. So with that being said, again, the numbers, the value is over $6,000. Today investment is $19.97. You're getting over 68% off the total value. But the real value, isn't the $6,000. The real value is in the revenue that you're going to generate in additional revenue in just the first year that you implement consistently what I teach you. So the real ROI, you're making a $19.97 investment. You can generate up to or more, $355,000. And it just depends. It depends on the price point of your offer. So your offer could be anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 or $500 to $2,000. So that's what your return on investment will look like. And so every time, every month that you wait to implement a system like this, you are losing out on $26,000. A lot of people say I can't afford it, but you can't afford not to take action. I need to think about it. That tells me that you may or may not see the value in this. And again, I'm not in the business of convincing. I hope that you see the value. This is not a traditional course. We work together from 10 to 4 for 2 days, back to back. Again, like I said, 10 hours. You've got the entire enrollment system built out, the marketing strategy, the outreach you're doing, and then you've got your presentation. Your presentation is done. You actually develop the presentation and create the slides all together with us. So you're going to get back on average about 20 hours a week. So for those that say, oh, I don't have time, well, I'm going to give you back your time because now all you're going to be focused on is revenue generating tasks. How do I lead as many clients or as many people to my upcoming client event? And that's what you really want to focus your time on. So over 20 hours back, which is equivalent to 1,040 hours. We talked about this could work for any niche. I have coaches and consultants. I have nurses. I have leadership development. I have oh my goodness, what are they? Professional financial advisors that use this system as well. So I need to make some money first. You're already on a revenue roller coaster because you don't have a systematic way to enroll your clients. So again, people will pay where they see value. So again, as I close out, I want to make sure that you get access to the link. You can scan the QR code, and the discount is only valid for about 72 hours. Like I literally said it today. I had to reactivate it. And so it's a 1997 investment. If you do want to get started, you can get started for as little as $500, just to save your seat for the next event. That if you're like, oh my God, April is too soon, I can't do it this Thursday. May might be okay. Let me put my $500 down, save my seat. And what's going to happen is once you actually take action, you're going to get your welcome email. You're actually going to start getting homework. So every 3 days, you get a homework assignment to prepare you for the next 2-day accelerator. I will say that we try to do them every month, but I cannot guarantee because we are doing multiple events. We're doing in-person workshops. We do the virtual workshops. So we do the accelerator. It just so happened we're doing April, May, and I think we're doing June. We're not doing July. And then I always tell people once football season comes around, baby, I am a hashtag sports mom. So I'm going to be on the field or at least on the sideline. So we structure the business, or we structure everything a little differently at the end of the year. So the universe rewards those that take action. So I welcome you if you decide that this is the next step that you would love to take. And if not, please stay connected to our community. We have a community group called Sell Your Signature Offer. We have a community on Facebook. And again, let me see. If we are not connected, do me a favor, follow me, facebook.com/DeKesha, facebook.com/DeKesha C. Williams is my actual page. I always like to say, a business consultant, we are passionate about your success. We value your time, your expertise, and your purpose. We strive to see you become profitable. So you can either keep trying to DIY yourself or plug into a proven system that's already helping entrepreneurs hit 20K months. So this was our first intensive back in January. This picture over here on the right hand side was the second intensive. This is Lena right here that we were talking about. We went to go see Maggie L. Walker. If you are familiar with Maggie L. Walker, Maggie L. Walker was born in Richmond, Virginia, which is where I'm based. So I took my clients to go to tour her home, and the reason being is because she was the first Black woman to create a bank. And it started here in the Richmond, Virginia area. And this was in the early 1900s. We weren't even allowed to vote. I don't even know if we were counted at that point in time as an actual individual. Don't even get me started. But it meant so much to me for me to take them to see Madam Maggie Lena Walker. Because what we realized, if Maggie Lena Walker could build something like that in the 1900s, there's no reason that we can't be successful with the knowledge that we have, the access that we have to the resources and the technology that we have at today. So with that being said, be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. My name is DeKesha Williams. I'm going to open it up for any Q&A or any questions that you may have or aha moments.